Hi guys! So I'm starting a new topic on my channel where every week or so I will dig into a case or an abandoned building or something with a really interesting, creepy backstory because I just find them interesting. So today will be the first episode and we are exploring Albert Fish, and probably not the best start for this talk for this segment, but I mean it's a really interesting one and I feel like we can get a really big head start on this, and you better just buckle up because it's gonna be a pretty long video, I am guessing. This is his mugshot. Not exactly a looker, but it was also the 1800s. Actually, he was caught in the 1900s, so we're gonna go with that. Yeah, pretty old story. So, Albert Fish, born Hamilton Fish in 1870. This guy's old. Was an American serial killer and cannibal whose life and crimes have become infamous in criminal history. After a troubled childhood, no wonder, marked by the death of his father. Oh, so he was fatherless. Okay. Marked by the death of his father and time spent in an orphanage. No hate, but no wonder. Fish exhibited troubling behaviors that escalated over the years. Sorry guys, I'm dyslexic. I'm also coming down with a cold, I think. So we're gonna ignore any sniffling or coughs, Okay, all seriousness now. That escalated over the years. He is suspected of murdering multiple children that estimates varying widely from 8 to as many as 15, often targeting those from marginalized backgrounds. His most notorious crime involved the abduction and murder of 11-year-old Grace Budd. We're gonna dig into that a lot in this episode. So disclaimer, there will be cussing and details. Okay. Whose remains were found years later, leading to Fish's arrest. Fish's criminal activities were characterized by... I'm not gonna read that word because we're just gonna skip over that word because I don't know that word. Hold on. Okay, guys, I got this. Fish's criminal activities were characterized by sadomasochistic tendencies. I hope I pronounced that right. And distributing obsession with inflicting pain rather than purely sexual gratification. This is not the right topic for me, guys. I can't read. Despite his hold on, guys. I swear I'm not doing this on purpose. I can't read. One second. Sorry, my brain didn't click. Despite his heinous acts, he was able to evade significant legal repercussions for many years. Facing arrest primarily for less serious offenses, his trial in 1935 concluded the conviction of murder, and he was executed in the electric chair. Fish's case highlighted the social. We're just gonna go with social because I don't know how to pronounce that. Social fears. Societal fears of the time, particularly surrounding child safety and trust placed in strangers, marking the significant shift in public perception. I'm sorry, guys. Regarding crime and safety. Now, I'm gonna clarify something. So, Albert Fish was a murderer, kidnapper, and cannibal who wrote letters with details like how he kidnapped them, what led him to kidnap them, how he killed them, cooked them, ate them, how they tasted. So here's the letter. Sorry guys, someone was like outside the window and I got scared. I had a little bit of stage fright. But anyways, like I was saying, so here is the letter to Miss Budd, Grace's mom. Dear Miss Budd, in 1894, a friend of mine shipped as a deckhand on the steamer Tacoma. I don't like that. Captain John Davis. Wait, on the steamer Tacoma. Captain John Davis. They sailed from San Francisco to Hong Kong, China. On arriving there, he and 2 others went ashore and got drunk. When they returned, the boat was gone. At the time, there was a famine in China. Meat of any kind was $1 to $3 a pound. So great was suffering among the very poor. That was all children. The very poor. So sorry, guys. Among the very poor, that all children under 12 years old were sold for food in order to keep others from starving. A boy or girl under 14 was not safe in the street. You could go to any shop and ask for steak, chops, or stew meat. Part of the naked body of a boy or girl would be brought out, and just what you wanted cut from it. A boy or girl's behind ass would be which is the sweetest part of the body, and sold as veal cutlet, brought to the highest price. John stayed there so long he acquired taste for human flesh. On his return to New York, he stole 2 boys, 1 7 and 1 11. Make the joke, I don't care. Took them to his house, stripped them naked, tied them in a closet, then burned everything they had on. Several times a day, he spanked them and tortured them to make their meat good and tender. First, he killed the 11-year-old boy because he had the fattest ass, and of course, the most meat on it. Every part of his body was cooked and eaten except the head, bones, and guts. He was roasted in an oven, all of his ass, boiled, broiled, fried, and stewed. The little boy was next. Went the same way at that time. At that time, I was living at 409 E11th Street, near Right Side. He told me so often how good human flesh was, I made up my mind to taste it. On Sunday, June 3rd, 1928, I called you at 406 West 15th Street. Brought you pot, cheese, strawberries. We had lunch. Grace sat in my lap, the 11-year-old girl, and kissed me. I made up my mind to eat her. Bitch, what? On the pretense of taking her to a party, you said yes, she could go. I took her to an empty house in Westchester I already picked out. When we got there, I told her to remain outside. She picked wildflowers. I went upstairs, stripped all my clothes off. I knew if I did not, I would get her blood on them. When I was all ready, I went to the window and called her. Then I hid in a closet until she was in the room. When she saw me all naked, she began to cry and tried to run downstairs. Loki's smart girl. He's ugly as fuck. I grabbed her and she said she would tell her mama. Girl, what the fuck is your mama gonna do? But I can see that from her point of view, threatening him, doing whatever. First I stripped her naked. How she did kick, bite, and scratch. I choked her to death, then cut her in small pieces so I could take my meat to my room, cook it, and eat it. How sweet her tender little ass was roasted in the oven. It took me 9 days to eat her entire body. I did not fuck her, though I could have, had I wished. She died a virgin. Despite how that sounds, that last sentence, this was written in the 18 to 1900s. So, clarification, he did not fuck her, though he could have. And so she died of virgin. Okay? Just because, like, some people had confusion on that, you know? The abduction of Grace Budd. When I said this was going to be a long episode, this is only 10 minutes so far, and I've gotten past 2 major points. But the abduction of Grace Budd is much, much longer. And then his mugshot, obviously, but that's a lot for my dyslexic ass to be reading. But I'm gonna do it for you guys because I love you. Okay, without further ado, let's go. The abduction of Grace Budd. The mystery of the disappearance of The mystery of the disappearance 6 years ago. Reminder, this was a long time ago, it was not 6 years ago. Of Grace Budd, 10 years old, was solved last night. Albert Howard Fish, 65 years old, did he? Of 55 East 128th Street. An undersized wizened, I think, house painter with restless eyes and thin, nervous hands, led detectives to her grave in lonely Worthington Woods. A desolate, I don't know that word, stretched between Elmsford and Ardsley in Westchester County. Fish was arrested in a rooming house, in 200 East 52nd Street early yesterday afternoon. Trapped through anonymous letters he had sent to the dead girl's family, he immediately confessed that he kidnapped the child and murdered her in a deserted house known as Wisteria Cottage, I think. Near where the body was found. Fish ascribed the murder to my lust for blood, and disclosed that he originally had intended to take Edward, Grace's 18-year-old brother, as his victim, but changed his mind when he saw the little girl. Edward Budd and Albert Budd, the father, identified Fish in police headquarters early this morning as the man who led Grace away from their home at 460 West 15th Street, west of 9th Avenue. 6 years ago, Edward was sent in first. Detective Willia, king of the Missing Persons Bureau, I don't know, who had worked on the case for 6 years and finally solved it, led him to the door of the Missing Persons Bureau. I don't know how to pronounce that. Oh, Bureau! No, that's not it. Never mind, I'm fucking stupid. And said, "Go in there, Eddie, and see if you can find the man who took your sister away, if he's in there." The moment the youth strode into the room, he picked the prisoner out from among the score of more picked the prisoner out from among the score or more of detectives and police officials. His eyes blazed. He lunged at Fish with an oath. "That's the man that took my sister away." Dramatic? I'm kidding, guys. Don't hate me. He screamed as detectives restrained Edward. Fish remarked mildly, "That's Eddie." Mr. Budd walked straight to Fish when he when he was admitted to the room. He was quivering with emotion, but obviously trying to restrain himself. "Don't you know me?" He asked Fish. "Yes, you're Mr. Bud. And you're the man who came to my house as a guest and took my girl away," the father said with quavering accent. He has an accent, what the fuck? Isn't this New York? Detectives led him away. Willie Cormer of 110 9th Avenue, a friend of Edward Budd, also identified the prisoner. Grace was one of 5 children of continued from page 1. I will put the rest in the description below if you would like to read it. I personally am not reading that because I will stutter too much and embarrass myself, and you guys are going to make fun of me in the comments, and I'm not dealing with that. But if, and only if, we get to 50 likes, I will read the rest. But that's it for right now. I'll see you guys on next week's episode.